Gyepi, evening message and bands. It's Gyepi once again. Gyepi evening, Gyepi day, Gyepi afternoon, Gyepi morning, Gyepi night. Whatever Gyepi may be working the best for you all around the world. It's Gyepi, your favorite Fox Splash, and we're going to continue the game that we started this day, which was the visual novel called Midnight Witch. Our pretty witch new teacher decided to become crazy, and she started slaying all of the classmates that seems committed something really bad in the past. So yeah, we're here to continue that visual novel together. I did had quite a comfy day. Like, not as comfy during the day because we had to wait in a queue for more than an hour with Baba, my fellow VTuber cat, of which I'm taking care. I had to take him to the vet, actually to the doctors, because he's not a furry cat. But yeah, he's a furry. Well, whatever. Went to the doctors for an hour in order to do some stuff. And later on, I managed to finish my cold soup once again to prepare it. I did put myself forward, and I'm glad I did it before heading out. I did prepare most of it and just was lacking 2 ingredients, so that's goodie. And I also prepared a fruit salad for tomorrow. So, this course for tomorrow it is, it seems. I hope you had a good day so far, and if it's barely beginning, I hope it goes pretty well as well. And perhaps that my stream may improve the mood, even though it's a horror one. Cozy vibes are still over here. Yes, totally. So, let's switch to the game. I wonder if one day I will have to like commission an audio or something while switch the screens. But I'm still quite goody doing it myself, I think. It's more quality this way. Just wait till I came here. A second. Okay. Here we are once again. Okay. Where we were left, we just began understanding what was happening. That the witch was not just erasing the lives of random classmates. It seems like it was coming to the ones that committed something really bad, such as assaulting fellow classmate girls or from other classes. But as well, it escalated to the point she also decided to kill the ones that did not follow basic school rules, the rules that she came up with actually, because our class is starting to be a tad long coming to the hours she's hosting, so such as, for example, she became mad when some started throwing up or trying to leave the classroom when she did kill 2 persons, those there were cadavers in the classroom. So the ones that do not stay still upon their seats and do not continue following the class, be killed. Oh wow! That scared me, what the hell happened? Hello Gyepi, I'm really happy to see you streaming, but I can remain. That's totally fine, Kato. Thank you for stopping by and have a nice sleep. Deserve it, and you have to rest a lot. For the head pat. Also, Baba, be prepared to rest properly because either Wednesday or Thursday we're gonna to host the birthday stream for you. I did not forget. I actually did prepare myself a plan for it, so look forward to it. Now, just get your sleep, okay? Good night, Baba. Oh, what? Okay. Bye-bye. Have a nice rest. Also remember to just let me know if you are not feeling well or are unable to sleep, of course. I am always here. Okay, let's... You there! What's your name? Evelyn is our new teacher, by the way, the one that is actually a witch. Breathless, I look up with devastated eyes at Evelyn. I forgot to turn on the audio, I guess. Wait. Okay, there we go, cinnamon buns. Apologize about that. Breathless, I look up with devastated eyes at Evelyn, who is staring at someone across the room. Me? That's silence. All the students turn to the unfortunate girl. I recognize her. It's Lucy, a rather loner girl in the class. Evelyn simply nods, with a broad smile, arms leaning against her desk, near the board. The brief relief of knowing I'm safe is immediately replaced by frustration at the inconsistency of the choice of the new victim. Why is she singling out a girl? She can be. She only punishes guys. What I was stating before is that, what if there are any girls that performed something bad, such as assault, for example? Taking as an example what happened before. Unless she's not planning to kill her, maybe Evelyn just wants to psychologically torture us into thinking she's going to kill everyone. Maybe she'll spare this girl and kill the next student she asks a question to. Next one, that could be me. Claire, my name is Claire. I frown. Is she doing? Her name is Lucy. Oh my goodness. If Evelyn finds out she's lying to her, is she hoping that such a risky ploy will be enough to save her life? Claire, that's a pretty name. Lucy's face is almost morbidly pale, but she manages to hold Evelyn's gaze without blinking. I've always thought that the name we're given at birth is the starting point of a great injustice, since we don't choose it ourselves. What do you think, Claire? She knows. She knows that Lucy lied to her, she knows everything. Lucy is doomed. Her voice becomes shaky. Yes, you are right. I'm always right, no need to mention it. Ooh, the voice acting. Evelyn's smile widens, then she bursts out laughing. I'm kidding, of course, nobody's perfect. Lucy's face breaks down as Evelyn walks up the stairs toward the row where her new victim is sitting. This psychological torture is unbearable, including for us bystanders. Does Evelyn plan to kill her, or does she just want to terrorize her? So, Claire, a question for you about her responsibility. I resign myself to the obvious. She's going to die. My theory is wrong. Is a person who distributes illegal content on the internet guilty even if he or she did not participate in the making of that content themselves? Of course. Lucy bursts out into tears in response to this oddly specific question. Please, I didn't know. I thought they were always consenting, I swear. Evelyn stares condescendingly at Lucy, half leaning over her. The unearthly glow of her medallion gleams on the tear-streaked face of the hapless victim. Please spare me, I'm so sorry. Please, please! Evelyn's gaze grows a little softer. Lucy, I'm sorry to see you so desperate. Lucy raises her pleading eyes. But your answer is off topic. With a simple gesture, Evelyn causes a small bluish mist to appear and ripple around Lucy's body. Goodness, she's finished. The latter begins to tremble so violently that her seat hammers the metal railing that serves as its support in a sonorous clacking. Clack, 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 clack. The shaking stops after a few seconds, and with a dull thud, Lucy's head falls against the table, her face turned in my direction. A fresh wave of nausea seizes me. Blood has abundantly spurted from her eyes and mouth during her agony. With a snap of her fingers, Evelyn clears the magical mist and walks back down to the podium, a mysterious smile on her face. Remember, responsibility is one of the must-have sociological studies in the program. Once back by her desk, Evelyn continues the class as if nothing had happened. Nothing in her appearance betrays the murder she has just perpetrated. Not her immaculate clothes, not her impeccably coiffed hair, her medallion, which has returned to its usual hue. Don't forget to take notes, this is important. I hear the sound of someone puking from across the room, but no screams. Most of the students go back to tapping away fervently at their keyboards, looking terrified. As I mentioned, they have to just continue their class, otherwise they're finished. And it seems like they also decided to share in the common chat among students the answers for the questions in case they get interrogated. But I do not think that's a good idea though, because he does know everything about us here. I do the same. Evelyn also targets girls. No one is safe. Emma, I love you. I whisper these words without taking my eyes off my screen, terrified of attracting Evelyn's attention. Emma simply squeezes my hand with unusual strength. Out of the corner of my eye, I see a few tears falling on her keyboard as she continues to take notes. I use my left hand to wipe away the few tears that are also bedding at the corner of my eyes and take a deep breath. I have to find a way to get us out of this. I have to figure out the rules of this sadistic, perverted game. I have to save Emma. I close my eyes and try to recall the details of the scene, despite the gagging in my stomach. Evelyn asked a very specific question again, and Lucy didn't react in her usual way, as if she knew exactly what it was about. Please, I didn't know. I thought they were always consenting, I swear. Lucy, she was guilty. She admitted her guilt. She understood that Evelyn had targeted her for a reason. For something she had done in the past. That would mean my theory might still be right. Evelyn's criterion for guilt would simply be harming other girls, regardless of the gender of the perpetrator. I look back into the chat room at full speed. I need to know more about Lucy's story. I decide to ignore the overwhelming mass of messages on the screen and type on my keyboard despite my shaking hands. So this is the common chat that I mentioned before. Does anyone know what Lucy was talking about? Who are the non-consenting people? Shut up, we're all gonna die! She's a sinner too, repent everyone! This guy seems to have lost his mind. But I feel like his sinner theory is somehow kind of right. I just need to confirm if it with Lucy's story. It's just rumors, but I heard she was collecting tapes from some students and reselling them to porn websites. I guess in a lot of the cases the girls didn't even know they were being filmed. Oh my goodness, that is up. I never checked online too. It's not a rumor, it's true. She even admitted to it herself. Shut up, that's a lie! Not sure if this is related, but I've seen videos of Lucas on porn websites. Same. Plus one. And not just Lucas, by the way, there are a few other guys from this university who had videos of them having sex with a lot of different girls. Would that mean that Lucy had a deal with these guys? That would explain Evelyn's question about responsibility. But how could she know something like that? She's a witch, she knows everything. We're all gonna die, it's only a matter of time. My theory seems to be confirmed. There are two types of victims, the punished and the disobedient. The punished are targeted directly through Evelyn's questions, which allows her to remind them of their misdeeds before killing them. They're guilty of having carried out terrible acts supposedly on girls. In other words, those who didn't do any evil thing have nothing to fear in principle. As for the disobedient, it can be anyone. The moment you disobey Evelyn's rules, you have a target on your head. The main problem is that I don't know with certainty the extent of these rules. Supposedly, it will be enough to pretend to be a good student and to obey her orders when she gives them. Supposedly. I shake my head. There are too many holes in my reasoning, too many gray areas. It's the only lead I have. If this will save lives, I need to tell everyone. Emma, log on to the local chat room. Emma looks at me unresponsive, looking dazed. The local network chat. I think I know how she chooses her victims. A small glimmer of hope lights up in her large, tear-reddened eyes. Are you sure? I'll explain everything in the chat, just log in. Emma glances worriedly at Evelyn, who now has her back turned towards us as she is writing on the board. Actually, I'm already logged on. I look at her in surprise. I thought she would be fully focused on the class. I give her a weak smile and a slight nod. Despite my shaking body, I begin to type on my keyboard at a steady pace. Look, I don't think she's randomly targeting her victims. Go to hell! Matt didn't deserve to die, not like this! Lucas, Matt, now Lucy, every time she asks a question, she knows something morally wrong her victims did. Exactly, she only targets sinners. You have condemned us all. You damned. What's your deal, Gyepi? You're saying that you agree with the other Siku here? It's a bit more complicated. Basically, Evelyn kills people who she thinks have done something terrible. She asks them a question with no good answer and she kills them. And Alicia, she killed her when she collapsed on the floor vomiting. That's because in addition to her sadistic justice, Evelyn also kills people who don't obey the rules, like those who stood out by the door despite her treat. You on her side or what? It's their fault they were killed by that crazy Yeah, but I never stated that she's right. I'm just trying to help her avoid death. They were paralyzed with fear. He's on her side for sure. What's with the bullpup rules? If no one knows them, it just means she's killing blindly. It's a bullpup excuse to kill us all like pigs. Doesn't make sense, she just kills for fun. She's a witch. She wants to sacrifice us to invoke an ancient demon on Earth. Crap, underestimated the difficulty of showing ideas online. Nobody's really listened to me. A very light tap on my back almost makes me scream in surprise. I turn around and see Jessica, Dan and Wes on the seats right behind me. It's not that dumb, your theory. Jessica is careful to keep her voice low. Despite the relative distance between us and the board, it's Evelyn. There's no telling how much she can hear us. What are you doing here? You're insane. Why would you move from your seats? It's okay, she's focused on writing, look. I quickly turn back to Evelyn and see with relief that she is still facing the board, writing sociological concepts that sound completely unfamiliar to me. Seems like she can't hear us, we should be fine. Emma joins the discussion. Maybe I think your theory makes sense, but... Yeah, it's not stupid, but we still don't know how to get out of this crazy poop. More whispers get our attention. Gyepi, are you sure about your theory? How do you explain that the witch spirit rose? Plus, with the others near the door too, catch a glimpse of the twins who have moved closer and are now almost glued to Emma. Rose, the one who passed out on the floor? The twins nod their heads perfectly in sync. That's what I was going to say. There are some details I still don't understand at all. I glance back at Evelyn in fear again. She quietly continues to write a rather dense lecture on the board, thoroughly unbothered by our whispers. I try to remember the scene. Rose. That's consistent with what Gyepi says. Rose passed out so she couldn't obey the rules. What the hell are you talking about? The witch, she asked everyone to go sit down. That was the rule. Go back to your seat. Does that mean we're in danger since we switched places? I don't think so. Since the murder started, I've changed seats 3 times and I still haven't been targeted. As long as we stay seated, I think she's satisfied. Why did you change your seat 3 times? Jessica looks at Dan like she's talking to her other child. To get me closer to you, so we can come up with a plan, you idiot. To get back to Rose, who doesn't adapt. She killed Alicia, who was throwing up. She couldn't get back to her seat later. The scene suddenly comes back to my mind. Poor thing, she fainted. What kind of teacher would I be if I punished a student with a... As for her, I'm sorry, but eating is not allowed in class. That's how you make the room dirty. The rule is to behave in class. Remember, she said she couldn't punish someone with anemia, so she couldn't kill Rose. She spares someone who has anemia, but she punishes someone who can control their gut when facing dead corpses? That's complete bullpoop. She made it clear that no eating was allowed in class, even though she knew full well that Alicia was throwing up because of the situation and not because of her breakfast. Her reasoning is particularly sick for sure. But since then there have been plenty of other students who threw up and are still alive. Jessica fixes Emma with an icy stare. They were in their seats. Which was the main rule, go back to your seats. That's completely twisted. If she was throwing up, she couldn't go back to her seat. Yeah, it just shows how sadistic she is. If you know you can't hold your guts in, then you shouldn't have headed for the door. But Rose fainted. According to her twisted reasoning, she too should have stayed in her place if she knew she couldn't stand. I massage my aching temples. I don't know, maybe she sees anemia as potentially related to poor health, to something we don't choose. We don't choose to vomit. Maybe it's not so much a matter of affliction as of consequence. When you vomit, you're still conscious even if moving is very delicate. She doesn't want to kill people who won't see death coming at them. She's the worst kind of sadist. Insists on following the rules normally imposed by a teacher. A teacher? You thought she was a teacher? She's not here to teach us anything, she's here to kill. We know that. His story is that she's playing teacher to catch us off guard on very simple rules of behavior that everyone knows, but applied to a morbid supernatural situation. That way she's sure everyone will make mistakes. That's disgustingly sadistic, but it seems to fit her personality well. Exactly. Look, I don't know where her supernatural powers came from, nor do I know why we're stuck in such a nightmare. However, I get the impression that she's trying to punish certain students guilty of behavior deemed harmful. Dan raises his voice slightly, despite the risks. Do you mean exactly she's playing the vigilant? That's your theory? So the guys who are not perfect have to die? Guys or girls, it seems. I don't care, you're saying I deserve to die? Emma turns back to Evelyn, looking very concerned. Then I'm begging you, keep your voice down. Then we don't make the rules, I just feel like I have to bet my life on your bulbo theory, that's what you're saying. And you're safe because you're the nice little boyfriend of a nice little girl. Go to hell, Gyepi. Oh my goodness. Hi, Sime, hi. We're continuing the game from today, Midnight Witch. We tried to explain so far the theory, inside of the chat, of the reasons the witch is killing us. but the chat seemed to think it was more like we were stating that she is right to do that. And here our friend just snapped because he realized he's not a perfect human and blamed us and started shouting. So now I guess he's risking as well. Jessica slaps the back of his head. We told you to shut up and stop freaking out, we're all in this together. Then stares murderously at Jessica but eventually regains his composure. We're just trying to figure out the switch's motives to maybe save some lives, nothing more. Then looks unconvinced. What are you doing, Sima? We did eat the cold soup once again. Bishop Loop 8. Oh, nice. How was it overall? Dan looks unconvinced. Yeah, to save your lives. Wait, why are you convinced that Evelyn is going to come after you? Don't tell me you assaulted a girl. Like a 6 out of 10. I see. Then turns sharply to me. Of course not, I'm not a freak. Jessica raises her eyebrows. I'm a normal guy. I don't assault girls, I have principles. Good for you. But then, why do you feel so threatened? Part music and part of the story carried the game. The word normal JRPG. You actually mentioned before what was odd coming to it, or I don't really remember. I just remember you stated it. Word. For war. But then why do you feel so threatened? If she is indeed seeking revenge on anyone who has hurt a girl in the past, then pauses, staring into space. I've never done anything insane like assaulting or that kind of poop, but I'm not exactly the monogamous type, you know me. So I've been with a lot of girls in a relationship, seeing how it didn't matter to me. I probably caused a lot of breakups and sometimes for couples who were pretty serious. Not as serious considering these girls were still willing to sleep with a guy like you. I'm not saying I'm super proud of it, but it's not like it's against the law, and I may not be the only one at fault. It takes two to cheat, right? I'm most surprised that you know that. Emma looks at me with a worried expression. I take her hand to reassure her. No, I'm cheating on her. Well, if we can survive this nightmare at all. Like, you talk to characters and you get friendship points, so that you can enhance their stats, almost no grinding, and it's mostly bosses. Oh. I see. That still makes me a guy with reprehensive behavior. About morals, values or anything, if it fits into her rules, I'm doomed. She's going to bleed me dry for acting like this. On the other hand, if you really did act like trash, Emma glares at Chloe. Don't say things like that, no one deserves to die for that. Jessica gives Chloe the coldest look I've ever seen. You're a pro-death penalty, right? Watching bad guys die in front of you makes you happy? Does it make you feel better about your own little life? Chloe looks down on the floor, but Zoe immediately flies to her rescue. Twins have always been extremely close and supportive of each other. That's not what she meant. No one wants them to die, but if Gyepi's story is right, that's pretty reassuring, right? It means there's real hope for some of the students. The good students, right? Trash like me can croak as quickly as possible to help you get out. No, that's not what you meant, right? How about you shut up instead? What do you think? So there we go, while in danger of panicking, getting angry and whatnot. Then calm down. Right now, the witch is only targeting people who have actually done horrible things. There's no telling whether she'll actually start targeting meaner sins like cheating on someone. If so, pretty much everyone will be on the death row, not just you. Then Shell begins to crack and I begin to detect signs of fear on his face. Fear of being next in line. I place my hand on his arm. I have nothing to offer him but my empathy. My fear. Jessica's right. If she starts killing over little mistakes, then we're all doomed. No one is perfect. Visibly on the verge of tears, Dan looks at me, shaking his head. Alright, back to the main topic. How can we use this theory to get out of here? Yeah, we have to find a loophole in the rules. There's got to be one. I keep to myself my fear that any possible loophole, if there is one, would have been left knowingly by Evelyn to trap us. To kill us and any trace of hope even more cruelly. Wes picks up. I forgot he was here too. What if someone pure tried to open the door? Jessica glares at him. Haven't you been listening? Anyone who doesn't follow the rules gets killed too, pure or not. Wes shakes his head, an unusually serious look on his face. No, that's a corollary of Gyepi's theory. His theory is just that Evelyn targets impure students when she asks questions, which has been true so far. So what, the others hadn't done anything? But we don't know. You said it yourself, nobody's perfect. Maybe all those who have died so far had something to blame, including the guy who tried to open the door. And maybe that's why he was burned alive, because he was a sinner too. I painfully suppress a new shudder. Burned alive, that's probably the worst kind of death. Your theory is based on untested assumptions. Like, if you're right, then since no one is perfect, we're all doomed, all of us. So we have nothing to lose by trying anything, including my theory. Then stares at Wes, with a pleading look of one who is willing to do anything to survive. Wes, what do you suggest? It's very simple. I think there are pure and impure students. By Evelyn's standards, pure are not supposed to die, while the others are definitely doomed. As a result, all we have to do is send someone pure to open the door. The witch won't want to kill him and will have a real escape route. Then, while she's busy killing the next impure one on the list, we can try to escape altogether. Since there will be pure people in the crowd, she won't be able to kill indiscriminately, which will leave the possibility for some of the impure ones to get out alive. Yeah, that's not so dumb. Like he said, we don't have anything to lose. With your stupid theory, we're all going to die for sure. This theory is even more fictitious than mine. A pure delirium with childish naivety, as if the key to your survival could rest on something so simple, so black and white. And yet it's tempting to cling to the slightest hint of hope, however illusory and ridiculous. This plan doesn't make any sense, maybe there is some truth to it. Then I choose the second one. I frown. This idea that there really are pure people doesn't make sense, no one is blameless. This plan doesn't make sense. That said, perhaps not everything is to be discarded. This theory is based on a total contradiction, nobody would instinctively want to leave the room calmly. That's exactly why it could actually work. It will be twisted enough to surprise Evelyn. Or go along with her sadism. Maybe she planned to tell the very last survivor that all he had to do to survive was to leave the room quietly. That's definitely something she could have planned. What if we forget about this purity thing? What if it was enough for someone to simply walk out very quietly as they would during a normal class? After all, we're allowed to go to the bathroom usually. Jessica looks at me with a condescending sigh. A normal class, right, Gyepi? Are you pretending not to see the dead bodies around us? Precisely, to allow something so simple, something that no one would dare to do in such a context, would be the height of sadism. That's precisely a rule Evelyn could invent, because no one would dare. Yeah, it makes sense. It's coherent. It's anything but coherent, it's based on nothing but pure desperate speculation, but in a situation as simple as ours, I'm convinced that we need to think differently. Counterintuitively. Calm down, there's just one issue with this brilliant plan of yours. Jessica sets her beautiful eyes in mine. The brave chosen one who will test your wonderfully disruptive theory. Are you talking about yourself? I swallow hard. Risking your life on such a crazy bet. A sigh in annoyance. If Dan is convinced, that means it's a plan worthy of a kindergartner. In short, something you definitely shouldn't do. You're right, it's stupid. Forget what I said. Wes fixes me with a particularly intense stare. No, just because you're not the right person to execute the plan doesn't make it wrong. It's not about courage, it's about survival. And for that, you have to pick the right person who will only get one chance to try this plan. I suggest we choose the most blameless, pure person, someone who will have the best chance of not being targeted by the witch. Wanna be our girlfriend? A serious, kind, well-liked person who is above suspicion. Wes turns his gaze to Emma. There we go. My mind is about to explode. You little poop, you want Emma to sacrifice herself to save your miserable life? Keep it down, you idiot! Emma keeps her eyes glued to Wes, looking stunned. Wes, you're crazy, we can't. I'd rather see us all die in excruciating pain than sacrifice Emma on the basis of a completely hacked-up assumption. Wes, you coward. Why don't you do it yourself? I told you we need to pick someone as pure as possible. We'll only get one chance. Emma, I know that I'm asking of you, but you're checking off all the boxes. Go to hell, you! Emma interrupts me by putting her hand over my mouth. Please stop, you'll get a skillet, please. I have to summon all the strength I can to keep my composure. There's no way, Emma is sacrificing herself. You'd rather have all of us died and give a small chance of survival to others. I'm about to snap his twiggy little neck when Emma puts her hand on my arm, looking pleading. I close my mouth with a low sigh. Don't touch Emma, not one finger. There's a long silence. The only sounds I hear are Evelyn's distant voice, still reciting the lecture, and the mechanical noise of words all around us. Eventually the eyes converge on Jessica, who stares at Emma with a dark look as usual. If she dares, I think it's a poopy plan. It's way too risky, and it has no basis in fact. Emma sighs, a slightly relieved look on her face. Even though I would never have let them do it, it's easier that Wes stays completely isolated. This filthy coward. According to Gyepi's theory, we have some time left before we are killed, provided we obey the rules. And we can use to find a loophole. I agree. Yeah, you're right. Emma sighs again. Anyone has a lead? A handful of students in front of us turn around after making sure Evelyn is still writing on the board. Hey Gyepi, you know how to escape from here? Please, I'll give you anything you want. I just want to get out alive. Jessica gives them her most haughty look. You idiots, have you been listening? We're still looking. You said you had a theory, Gyepi? Yes, but a theory to survive a little longer, that's all. Until we figure out how to get out of here. Jessica nods her head in agreement. I'm rich, my father can give you anything, just get me out of here. Did you not pay any attention? We don't know how yet. Emma, you're a super nice girl, please, I'll do anything you want. The twins both sigh. These guys are crazy. Talk about losers, that explains some of the messages on the chat. There has to be a way to escape. If there are rules, there are loopholes. The real question is, if Evelyn thought of rules to torture us, how would she leave us the option of exploiting any loopholes? Could we use one of the weird weapons she invoked? I'm sure it... If you have time to chat, it means you already know everything about this class. Our entire little group instantly freezes. Yay. You there, in front of the handsome boy. Were you saying something? Is it because you're bored? No, not at all, The allegedly very rich student's shaky voice betrays the subs that agitate him. I was... It's probably more interesting than this class. Could you share with the whole class what you were saying? Cold sweat floats my chest. My throat instinctively knots and every breath becomes difficult. It could have been me. I'm 3 feet away from him. He could have questioned me. But he's the one who is doomed. He was the last one to speak. The last one to break the rules. With a hold, the student in front of me gets up and runs full speed towards the large glass windows at the back of the room. Goodness. I watch the scene in awe. Helen is still standing motionless next to the board, a toothy grin on her lips. What does she plan to? The student throws all his weight against one of the large windows in hopes of shattering it. I can't help but wish with all my heart that he will succeed. He does. Will Evelyn have time to kill us all? Will we be able to sneak away during the class or call for help? A new flash of light dazzles me for a moment, then it disappears just as suddenly. My eyes slowly reopen, but the long pained groan I hear leaves no doubt as to the outcome of this escape attempt. A new vision of horror awaits me. The student who tried to flee lies a few meters off the ground, pierced by a wall of purple thorny vines that dance all along the large windows. Very quickly, his rattling dies down, and his lifeless body comes to a complete stop, just like the brambles that now seem to be frozen. On the other side of the windows, through the few gaps left by the thorny vines, I see a bright blue sky. As if to cruelly remind us of our captivity, the fatal outcome of which is no longer in doubt. The room is perfectly silent, aware that the slightest noise could be sanctioned by Evelyn. There is no alternative to this deadly little game. We must play by the rules. The only way to survive is to break through the cracks. Next to me, Emma sits straight in her chair, eyes closed. It's probably wiser. Contemplating a new corpse can only encourage the mind to plunge into madness for good. And if we want a chance to survive, we need all our mental capacities. How rude! You can discuss as much as you want after class is over. A new feeling of deep unease comes over me. I feel as if Evelyn is looking at me with a sardonic smile. Her eyes, an unearthly glint dances in the depth of her eyes. Could it be madness? Cruelty? Sadism? Or simply fun? In a great theatrical gesture, Evelyn turns back to the board and starts writing again as if nothing had happened. Her medallion, glowing with magic, bounces against her chest as she moves. An unyielding witness to the carnage she has wrought. Inside me, a small voice that I had previously muzzled now resounds with force. We can't get out anymore. We're doomed. Alright, now you should have the basics of microsociology. Evelyn goes back to sit on her desk, looking satisfied. Behind her, the board is black with words most likely related to sociology, but I am unable to focus on them. My gaze remains fixed on Evelyn's smile. Less than an hour ago, I thought it was one of the most beautiful smiles I've ever seen. Now it fills me with a daughter every time I see it. What kind of new horror is she planning? The last of the students taking notes finally pause at the sudden silence. Okay, now that we're done with this chapter, I think it's time for some questions. And for some questions, this relentless praise catches up with us again. She's not done with the punishments. Behind me, I can almost hear Dan's sweat hitting the desk with a dull thud. How many people are going to be killed before she finally lets us out? Is she really planning to sacrifice the entire student body one by one under the guise of nobody's perfect? Emma gives me a quick look of encouragement with a clear message everything is going to be okay. Strangely enough, my panic level has started to decrease since I confirmed my theory. I've gone through all the sins I've been guilty of in the past, but nothing in particular stands out. Let's just say as long as people like Dan and Jessica are still alive, I have nothing to fear. Not me, not Emma, not even the twins. If my theory is right, Dan and Jessica are almost like a form of life insurance. I am safe. Now, I shake my head, hitting my temple slightly. I shouldn't allow myself to think like this. Dan and Jessica absolutely do not deserve to die no matter what the circumstances. I must resist this death-dealing cynicism that seeks to take over my mind. The fact that Dan and Jessica are still alive is not reassuring, it is merely normal. It has to stay that way. Until we find a way out of here. A way to escape this nightmare. I quickly scan the room looking at Evelyn's next potential victim. I see a small group of 3 students who are shaking all over. I can't remember their names, but they're the kind of guys who usually play bad boys in any situation. They probably realize that they are guilty of some shady stuff, which is why their panic is so obvious. They are condemned. Evelyn walks slowly along the main staircase like an empress. An emperor who has the right of life and death over each and every one of us, just like in those days. Remember, microsociology is based on 2 founding pillars: social interactions and communication between individuals. We've already talked about social interactions, so how about questions about communication? Her malevolent smile widened. Are there any volunteers? I restrained myself from looking directly at her, afraid to meet her eyes. Sure, which do your usual sadistic little trick. We know damn well you're going to point to the person you had in mind all along. Nobody? Okay, well, I have to pick someone again. Evelyn slowly moves closer to our row. Crap, I hope she doesn't target Dan. I haven't heard from you since the beginning of class. What a shame, you seem to be such a good student. My whole body instantly freezes. No way. It can be. It takes me all the strength of my will to manage to turn my head in Evelyn's direction. She's standing with one hand on the table, staring at... What was your name again? Huh? That's completely impossible! Emma sits stiffly upright in her seat, livid, her wide eyes focused on Evelyn. She barely manages to nod her head in agreement. Wonder if she got some hidden secrets herself. Let's see, an easy question for someone like you. I'm on the verge of apoplexy. Blood rushes through my skull so fast that my eyes naturally close. Only Evelyn's mocking face refused to disappear, like an indelible stain on my retina. Emma, my Emma, doomed. That's impossible! What place is there for honesty in a couple? In other words, should we tell each other everything? I open my mouth to scream, but only a hoarse grumble comes out. Evelyn turns to me, a finger over her mouth. Ta-ta-ta, no cheating, you should wait for your turn to answer. Oh. Her eyes cast a blue, evil light. For a moment I see a stronger flicker deep in her pupils, and I feel something go haywire inside me, something... I can breathe! I put my hands to my neck, still held on my seat by some magical force probably triggered by Evelyn's curse. Emma turns to me in panic. Stop, I beg you! Evelyn stares at Emma, a big smile on her face. It's another proof of her sadism as I continue to suffocate in my seat. Emma, I asked you a question. Emma topples over in an advanced state of panic. I try to stop Emma from answering the question, but the lack of oxygen prevents me from doing anything. Please don't answer. I honestly thank each other everything. Yes, yes! Evelyn claps her hands together. Excellent answer. Emma turns to me, stunned. I have... My vision blurs from asphyxiation. Her face, is it... blood? I can barely make out Emma as she collapses to the ground. I think I hear the screaming of the twins nearby, but my ears are ringing terribly. The lack of oxygen is getting the better of me. My head is spinning. Where is Emma? On the verge of fainting, I see two huge eyes. Beautiful. Terrifying. Night blue. Careful, the class is not over yet. You must not leave your seat. At these words, I finally managed to suck in a huge gulp of air. My head is still spinning, but I managed to turn my brain's essential functions back on. My goodness. Emma is lying on the floor, a long blue dagger protruding from her back. Suddenly, I feel a tremendous amount of pain. Oh, hello. Breathless, I struggle to scream. Emma!
Mamma mia!
Evelyn's treat hits me hard. If I leave my seat, I will be punished. Mamma mia! I will die too. I lower my tear-filled eyes toward Emma's body, whose face straightens slightly toward me. Gyepi, forgive me. The horror of Evelyn's twisted trap intrudes on me in all its glory. If I want to live, I must let the girl I love die before my eyes. Without being able to comfort her, without being able to touch her one last time, I must let her die alone, abandoned on the dusty floor of an auditorium. I have a choice, no way. Pick the most risky one, I guess. Actually, maybe this one is risky as well. Well, let's pick no way. And stay still. I can't. To hell with Evelyn. Hell with everyone else. Nothing makes sense anymore. Emma is going to die. Just as I rush to the floor to hold her, an immense pain hits my back. Wee. I collapse in front of Emma and I can see the supernatural dagger piercing my body. But my eyes remain fixed on Emma's tear-strained face. My Emma. I love you. I painfully manage to reach out my arm to hold to her, and our two hands meet halfway. Her own hand is already so cold. Emma, I love you. I love you so much. A ragged cough half interrupts me and I can taste blood in my mouth. Emma, stay with me, please. Thank you, Gyepi. Emma's eyes turn glassy as the last sign of life is drained from her. She's dead. Emma. I use what little energy I have left to let out a hole filled with pain, anger and despair. I feel as if the world has gone completely silent. Nothing around me matters anymore. Nothing but Emma's big, lifeless eyes. Emma, why you? Why? I can feel the life slipping out of my body quickly. My breathing becomes more difficult and I move my head. I hear Evelyn's voice in the distance. Strangely, the tone is neither mocking nor playful, more like disappointed. A pity I didn't expect such a stupid reaction from you. I painfully articulate a few words in a breath of hatred. You... Alright, let's keep going. I hear Evelyn's footsteps walking away. Go die, you... My last sentence is interrupted by a jolt from the dagger that seems to move on its own along my spine. These are the last words I'm able to speak. Words of insult, in front of the girl I love. I probably would have been better off addressing my last words to Emma. What an idiot. As my eyes close for the last time, I clutch Emma's lifeless hand to mine, with all the fire roaring inside me. Let's move on to the next question. Is there a volunteer? I have not obeyed the witch rules, and have hence been sentenced to death. Die you shall, you fool. Working and lurking, best of luck with this. Hope you're enjoying it. Hi Crimson. Good luck with the work. Yeah, I'm quite enjoying it actually. An interesting little Valent. Read. Okay, I don't have a choice. Emma is going to die, and I have to watch her die totally powerless. My Emma. Emma! With my eyes still on Emma's shaking body, I turn to Evelyn in a pleading voice. Please, spare her, please! Despite the distance between us, Evelyn's mocking voice seems to whisper in my ear. Keep disrupting class, I'll have to punish you. Emma's gaze becoming pleading. Please don't. Her voice is weak but still manages to convey her message forcefully. Tears stream down my cheeks, even to the end. She is still concerned about me, about my survival. Emma, I'm sorry. Sorry, the girl I love is dying in front of me. I'm not doing anything to help her, and I'm sorry? Gyepi, you vile piece of crap. My voice turns into a hoarse whisper. I love you. Emma pretends to smile despite a coughing fit that causes a new spray of blood to appear along her mouth. I really like this background music. Gyepi, I love you. Her last sentence is interrupted by a jolt from the dagger that seems to move on its own along her spine. It reminds me of a certain scene. Oh, by the way, but I still did not have read the visual novel. Yeah, I did watch the terrible anime adaptation years ago. As life completely abandons Emma and her big blue eyes turn grey, I feel as if I am drained of all emotion. I no longer feel anger or terror, I just feel a deep despair that almost completely numbs my pain. I cannot take my eyes off Emma's lifeless body. The rest of the world goes black. Emma couldn't even finish her sentence. Evelyn probably waited for the right moment to put her out of her misery to make my pain worse. Evelyn. I know I should feel all the hatred in the world for her. I know I should stand up, use the dagger stuck in Emma's body and run to certain death trying to tear out her huge blue eyes. Revenge. A normal person would just take the cruelest and hardest revenge possible. But these thoughts seem perfectly futile to me. Nothing matters anymore. Emma is dead. I close my eyes and begin to cry openly, not caring about any punishment from Evelyn. Gyepi, I'm so sorry. When I open my eyes again, I see Dan, who has moved right next to me from the back row. I guess Evelyn has resumed her class, and that quiet movement and whispering is allowed again. I look at him blankly. A little further down the row, the twins are on the verge of fainting, their faces ravaged by numerous dried tear tracks. Actually, before starting this game, when I did read that it's about cheating and horror, I was thinking that the girls in here go full yandere. Different. We're gonna get even. We're going to kill her, I swear. I remain silent. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Jessica watching me from the row behind me. A look of concentration on her face. We won't stay passive, we're gonna make it. It's as if my heart has turned into some kind of black hole that has completely wiped out any form of emotion in me. I stare at him without saying a word. Gyepi, say something! Then shakes me by the shoulder despite the risks involved if Evelyn spots us. Come on, there's no point in crying forever, we have to get even now! The ocean of pain that completely overwhelmed me slowly turns into a raging anger. Stop. What? I don't care anymore. Killed Emma. That's why we need to react. Emma, she was perfect, and yet she killed her. Slaughtered her like lamb. In contrite, Dan puts his hand on my shoulder in what he hopes is a comforting gesture. It's not. My theory was completely wrong. She kills anyone. If Emma was targeted, then we're all going down. Emma was perfect. Tears swelled up in my eyes again. I should have stayed with her. Evelyn would have killed me too. And I would have died with Emma. We'd have stayed together and she wouldn't have had to die alone like... My voice breaks into sobs. Anger again gives way to sadness and despair. Then watches me with clenched jaws, looking visibly moved. Come up with a plan if it amuses you. There are no rules. No logic. She's going to kill us all with her invincible magical powers, and we're going to die totally helpless. Like lab rats. There has to be rules, you say so. Emma is dead, there are no rules. Leave me alone and enjoy your last moments. Dan widens his eyes, shocked by my fatalism. This isn't like you giving up like this. Leave me alone, I just want to... Just what? Stay with Emma? So what am I waiting for? To get up from my seat and have Evelyn kill me? Am I just a coward? My thinking is interrupted by Evelyn's voice again. Let's get back to the questions. Is there a volunteer? An unexpected commotion fills the room. Grandma's death. Everyone seems to understand that anyone can become Evelyn's target. She's going to kill us all! Help! Run away! The screams act as a signal. 3 students rush for the door, while a handful try their luck with the glass windows despite the thorny wine wall. The remaining students remain paralyzed in their seats, aware that it is already too late to get moving. I pity the participants in this futile escape attempt. Where's the police? Like, for real. I think like she would magic somehow made us isolated from the actual world. At least it felt like so to me because the lessons seem to be way too long for no one to notice. I pity the participants in this photo escape attempt. They're like in magic bubble. I think so, that was not mentioned, but way too much time passes, it seems. Erase it from the world. I pity the participants in this futile escape attempt. Poor fools, there is no escape. He has planned everything, we can't get out. Evelyn observes a sudden rush with an amused look. She barely needs to move an arm for more magic spears to come out from nowhere and pin the 3 runways near the door to the ground with a sickening crack. Baby. Her smile widens as the blue glow dancing in her eyes shines brighter than ever, as does the glow in her medallion. As for those who tried to get past the thorny wine wall, the screams tell me the extent of their failure. I refuse to turn around to contemplate this new part of the morbid work imagined by Evelyn. Evelyn, that filthy witch who deprived me of Emma. She seems to enjoy the last moments of the dank students. When a dead silence reigns again in the room, her voice raises again. You guys are pretty agitated. I think we can conclude the questions for now. Alright, let's get back to the class. Perhaps we should start the chapter about justice. Evelyn claps both hands, delighted by her own idea. Yes, justice sounds perfect. She turns back to the board and erases it with a snap of her fingers before returning to writing. The surviving students are all morbidly pale, even Dan seems particularly downcast. After all, Evelyn has just killed again, 5 people without any hesitation. The list of the next potential victims is shrinking by the minute. And everyone knows they could be next. And please don't forget to take notes. The best students will be rewarded. Warded, she's blatantly messing with us. The survivors' fingers unconvincingly resume their dance on the computer keyboards. Everyone seems to be in shock at the massacre that has just occurred. The door and the adjoining wall are now covered with blood. A strong smell of corpses fills the atmosphere. Guess we've gotten used to such a stench, because no one is vomiting anymore despite the carnage. Or maybe we don't have anything left to vomit. Evelyn, not bothered by the full smell in the air, now recites the rest of the lesson by writing the important concepts on the board. Maybe we don't have a choice now, we have to come up with a plan. We're all going to die otherwise. I turn a disillusioned look toward Dan. What's the point? We're all going to die. You just said so. All the more reason to try something. An escape attempt just happened. You saw the result. Evelyn didn't even look surprised. Dan seems at a loss for words. So what? So what? We just have to come up with a better plan. Jessica, sitting in the road directly behind, leans in. Gyepi, stop whining. It won't bring Emma back. We need your help to think a plan. I give her a hateful look. You... shut up. You never wasted a chance to insult Emma. You hated her. I raise my voice despite the risk that Evelyn will hear us and just take a bite out of our lives. After all, why not? We're all doomed anyway. You must feel so superior to be still alive, but you're nothing but trash next to her. She deserved to live 1,000 times more than you. Tears fill my eyes again. I thought I was dehydrated for good. Emma, she was so much better than you, than all of us, and yet she is... I'm unable to finish my sentence. Saying these words out loud feels like an almost insurmountable ordeal. Jessica looks at me sadly. It's the first time I've seen that kind of look on her face. Gyepi, about Emma. Then cuts her off. Emma begged you to stay put so you would stay alive. If you listen to her, it means you still have hope in you. You want to survive. I didn't move when she died. I watched her die like the worst kind of coward. Since then I still haven't moved. It would be so easy to end it. I only need to stand up and Evelyn. I like to convince myself that I left Emma to die alone to fulfill her last wish. But the truth is, I had made my decision before she spoke. I had decided to stay put. I was too afraid to die. I thought I could survive, find a way to survive. Gyepi, Emma sacrificed herself for you. Until the end, she only thought of you. Don't throw away that chance. We can do this. Behind them, the twins glare at me. It's true, Gyepi, Emma was counting on you. If you die without trying, then it's like she died for nothing. A small spark of fury flares up inside me, gently rekindles a desire that I had almost completely obliterated since Emma left us. Desire to live. The despair I feel does not go away, there's no way out. Evelyn has just proved it, her magic is far too powerful. Powerful and cruel. Jessica speaks up again. Just read the chat. Look at these pinnaless idiots who have already given up. You're better than that, Gyepi. I turn back on my laptop without any conviction and scan with my eyes the last messages left on the chat. I can't believe it. She just killed 5 people at once. If she killed Emma, then we're all doomed. She kills for fun, I told you already. Don't try to find any rationale. So Gyepi's story was completely wrong. Gyepi is just trash. He's been working with her since the beginning. Yeah, maybe he wanted to give us false hope. Gyepi, you piece of poop. Repent, it's because of the sins of a few that we're all doomed. He's crazy. We're all chosen as sacrifices to summon a demon to cleanse the earth of our sins. It's not that crazy, maybe we're all going to die because of all the wretchedness in our class. The rapist, the guy who abuses his girlfriend. Shut up, Matt didn't deserve to die. He never abused his girlfriend. That makes sense. We're all condemned because of a few buttholes, who deserved to die. That makes no sense at all, you idiot. We're going to die because of you all. I hate you all. We're all going to die because guys are worse than animals. That's just disgusting. Shut up. There was also a girl among the victims too, and Emma. It's your fault. Repent. Shut up. Repent. Just shut up. Repent. Popcorn. Repent. Shut up. Repent. 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 Hashtag popcorn. I interrupt my reading. The non-stop flood goes on forever. Faced with adversity, people go crazy. You're better than this, Gyepi. I'm not sure about that, but I like to think so. Gyepi, these courts have chosen their fate, but not us. We still have a say. I let out a dejected sigh. Anyway, my theory is wrong. I can't come up with a plan that makes sense without understanding the rules of the game. So what, you've always been too theoretical? Less talking, more acting. What kind of action? Did you see how she killed 5 people in the blink of an eye? Gyepi's right, if we don't understand how she acts, we won't be able to exploit her weaknesses. I don't care, I'm not going to sit around and wait for her death. The discouragement wins our small assembly. The faces are dark, except for Jessica, who gives me an enigmatic and sad look at the same time. Gyepi. All eyes immediately pivot on her, hoping that she will announce a plan as miraculous as it is unexpected. I have to tell you about Emma. What is she going to say, that she saw Emma throw a piece of trash on the street and has deserved to die? Jessica lets out a long sigh. I'm sure she was very nice to her friends and she probably had a lot of affection for you, but... The twins opened their eyes wide. Jessica, there's no point. It wouldn't do any good for him to know. Wait, what? Tell me what, speak! My tone is unnecessarily snarky but proves my renewed interest in the affairs of this world. Emma, I hate her, it's true. I can forgive her since... He doesn't need to hear that. Valera Chloe, she immediately looks down. Shut up, I need this more than ever. Since what, Jessica? Jessica closes her eyes. She slept with my boyfriend last year, at a dance party. Oh. What? Emma with David? Is that why you dumped him right afterwards? Wait, what? Zoe looks at me with pleading eyes. She was upset about her cat who died. It got her drunk, it's not her fault if... Jessica's eyes regain their ice-cold glare. I caught them in the act at the party. I don't care what the reasons were for doing this. These two to cheat. Both of them deserve all my contempt. So yes, I dumped that cheating bastard, and yes, that's when I started hating Emma. No, I didn't tell you, Gyepi. Emma, my Emma, so sweet. So perfect. I cheated on me? On me? She cheated on me? Gyepi, you had been together for less than a year back then. If you knew how much she regretted it after... Shut up! I yell without any restraint. I feel most of the eyes in the room converge on me. It's literally impossible that Evelyn didn't hear me. The twins, terrified, turned their heads toward the board, waiting for the inevitable punishment. That never happens. Only the cheerful voice of Evelyn, who continues to recite her lesson, fills the silence, and the noise of the computer keyboard settles down again. I cheated on me. She did, no matter when, no matter how. She cheated on me after all we've said to each other, everything we've been through. All the words of love we've exchanged. Tears are coming to my eyes. I thought we would end up getting married, start a family together, grow old together, die together. To hell with it, Emma cheated on me. Emma. A big part of my inner world just fell apart, the happiest part of my life. As a lie. Gyepi, I had no idea, I'm so sorry. The twins remained quiet, they obviously knew all about it. They and Emma have been friends forever. Gyepi, I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner, I didn't think it was any of my business. I didn't want to interfere in other people's relationships, I already had to be mine. I remained silent, my fist clenched. Emma, behind her angelic smile, she slept with David, a filthy poop. Every time I touched her and thought I was the only one. Every time she told me I was the only one. And she told me that she loved me. Crap. Sorry to bring this up again, but that means Gyepi's story is still correct, right? Emma deserved it too. I cast a blushed glance towards Wes, still sitting in the row behind me. You say one more word, I'll rip your throat out with my teeth. Wes immediately closed his mouth, obviously frightened by my meaningless treat. That's awfully cynical, Gyepi, and I understand how hard it is for you to take that under such conditions. But Wes has a point. The witch did have a reason to go after Emma, there was nothing blind about it. I don't care, I don't give a damn, my theory, Jessica, Dan, everyone. My thoughts, my hate, my well-being is focused on Emma, on all the happy memories that are crumbling one by one. Gyepi, we have to get revenge. Channel your anger to find a way to get out of this. I'm about to propose Dan to get gently go to hell himself. I have a plan, and I need you. Everyone goes wide-eyed, no one expected Dan to come up with a plan. Even me. Surprise makes me forget Emma for a moment. You? You have a plan? We're listening, Dan. Dan sits up straight in his seat, delighted by the general attention. Listen. I close my eyes for a moment to push Emma out of my thoughts and focus on Dan's plan. As Jessica said, we're now pretty sure that the people designated to answer the questions have all done something bad. According to the witch's completely hacked up standards, of course. People who might have been offended by that, the dead, are no longer around to voice their concerns. And it seems she wants to kill people in a certain order, that's why she designates her victims one by one. So that the survivors have plenty of time to torture themselves by thinking about their own potentially reprehensible acts. But his morbid little game has a flaw. We're now hanging on Dan every single word, who marks a very theatrical pose as if he's forgotten the situation we're currently in. Out with it! Well, for every question she already has a target in mind, so we just need to volunteer. May feels most of the nearby faces, except for Wes, who looks at Dan intensely. Shouldn't have raised my hopes up. It's Dan we're talking about, you shouldn't have had any expectations. Jessica slaps him on the back of the head. That's your brilliant plan, you think she's going to break down her own at the genius of your unexpected reaction? Wait, I'm not done, the idea is just to divert her attention with something she won't anticipate. I stare at Dan with a puzzled look. This plan makes absolutely no sense, but I like the idea of trying to confuse Evelyn. Taking her out of her comfort zone. Then what? If I get her attention, then one of you can stab her from behind. Stab her with what? You walk around with a knife in your bag? Dan turns his head toward Emma's dead body, pierced by a long blood dagger, whose hilt still seems to glint slightly. With this thing. Then turns back to me. Sorry, it's... He shakes his head. Sorry, Gyepi, this is the only weapon we have on hand. The others are too far away, there's no way we can get to them without the witch noticing. I look down at Emma and immediately look away, overcome with a nausea that is all too familiar. My mind is flooded with conflicting feelings between despair at having lost Emma and anger at knowing that our relationship, that it was all a lie. I don't think she deserved to die. Nobody deserves to die. Not for this. Not for breaking my heart. Not for something so trivial. But if it's really something trivial, how come I feel so much pain inside? I bury my head in my hands to banish the memory of Emma. I have to stay focused on Evelyn. Evelyn, the source of all evil. The source of all this horror. I speak in an incredibly weary tone. Say we don't manage to use this dagger, how do you plan to... You really plan to stab her? In case you've been sleeping all morning, she's a witch. Physical weapons are powerless against her. Oh yeah, and how did you figure that out? It's in all the movies. Are you that dumb? This isn't a movie, this is the real world. We're talking about our lives. So what, this is the only frame of reference we have. A frame of reference invented by people who have never done magic in their lives. You think there's some kind of magic school to learn how it works? Of course movie writers have never done magic in their lives. Stop trying to confuse me, who gives a poop about this? The witch breathes like we do. And if she has a hole where her throat used to be, just stop breathing, it's that simple. The twins sighed heartily. They and Dan never had a particularly cordial relationship. Alright, you have a better idea. Any idea will be better than that. Go ahead, I'm listening. Stop targeting her, it's for you to justify your lousy plan. I roll my eyes. So much inefficiency. Seems like they're more interested in discrediting each other than coming up with a plan that works for everyone. They should go into politics. Then I don't understand your plan, can you sum it up clearly? Then puts both of his hands on the table, a very peculiar look on his face, tense fingers, fixed gaze, frowning eyebrows. Is either thinking intensely or about to fart? What the hell? I hope he's thinking intensely. I did not expect that. It's very simple. Next question session, I'll go back to the row behind us and volunteer. Since he doesn't expect to have a volunteer, it's a safe bet that he'll stay focused on me, looking for a suitable question to kill me. And as soon as she gets to me, one of you will take the weird blue dagger and attack her from behind. Realize that you are very likely to die. You and the other idiot who will try to stab her. Then gives me a bright smile that reflects both his courage and his stupidity. So what, I told you, if you have to go to the slaughterhouse, you might as well do everything you can to stand a chance. I won't just sit back and wait for death to get me. Always converge on Jessica, silent for a moment. Jessica, what do you think? It might work, right? I think it's a plan that should be buried under 40 feet. Oop. Probably. But as painful as it is for me to admit, I don't have anything else to offer. I agree with all of you that the witch wields magic, which pretty much negates any conventional plan one could think of to kill a normal human. On the other hand, there's every indication that she's going to keep killing us all one by one. So what do we even have to lose? And at this little game, maybe she'll actually be surprised by the fact that an Dan is volunteering to ask for questions, and that it will open a window of opportunity for us to attack her. Please look at Jessica stunned. Yeah, but that sounds very risky. That's why I'm volunteering. What if we can't hurt her with the knife? Then we will all die, which will happen anyway. But are we really all doomed? We all witnessed Evelyn's behavior, even though her questions target specific people for a final moment of horror before death. She also used absurd rules to kill innocent people. In other words, those who disrupt the course. Let's not be naive about her intentions, I think it's now clear that she plans to kill us all. I don't know, she only targets the unclean and those who are stupid enough to not follow the rules. I don't think she wants to kill us all. Jessica looks at him with a disgusted expression. Even if your theory were true, do you really consider yourself as pure? Wes, you idiot, are you with us or against us? Wes looks down, clearly sensing the vindictiveness. I'm with you, of course, I just think maybe we're not all doomed. Gyepi, what do you think? Wes glares at Dan but doesn't dare finish his sentence. Gyepi, can we count on you? Always pivot to me. Count on me, huh? Does the success of this poopy plan really come down to this? By the way, Cinnamon gonna stream 15 minutes more, and I'm gonna end the stream here this evening. A bit short it is. Gonna go offline too late. Tomorrow I'll do my best to be here earlier so that we can stay here for longer time, right? Count on me, huh? Does the success of this poopy plan really come down to this? Got nothing to lose, that's pure suicide. Okay, we got nothing to lose. Emma's betrayal has awakened a vengeful fury in me towards the whole world, towards Emma, towards the one person behind this all. Evelyn. Lynn is right, it's time to act, we're all screwed anyway. This plan isn't worth much, but it does have the merit of trying to get Evelyn out of her comfort zone. We our only hope to find a flaw in her plan. And that's better than waiting your turn like a beast doomed for the slaughter. I'll follow you, but on one condition. Dan sounds very relieved. It's like he was really counting on me. Be the one to stop Evelyn. On second thought, I think it would indeed be unreasonable to leave this task to Wes or the twins. On the other hand, Jessica could definitely stab someone. She's a terrifying girl. Whoever volunteers is the one who will take the most risks. I want that person to be me. The twins' cheeks turned pink. Wow, Gyepi, you're so... Jessica glares at them for a moment and turns to me. You don't have to volunteer for this. Dan isn't the brightest, but he's reliable. If he's volunteering to do it, then that means he'll do it. Then surprised look alternates between Jessica and me. Jessica, that's nice. Shut up. If you want, but Gyepi, no way, it's my plan. I'm the one who has to take the dead guy's seat. I shake my head, looking unruffled. No, from the beginning, I feel like Evelyn has been giving me, I don't know. It's like she's been giving me special treatment. Because she called you handsome, no offense dude, but get over it, you're not so much of a beauty contest winner. That didn't mean anything. I dismissed her remark with an irritated gesture. It's not about that, ever since she walked in this room, she has... Look at Emma. It's almost like she killed her to torture me, more than to punish Emma. Jessica looks at me intensely. I have to admit, Emma's death was pretty unusual compared to her usual modus operandi, but we're talking about her most recent targeted murder. Maybe she has planned to modify her methods from now on. Maybe, but... As for her winking at you and calling you handsome, sorry to disappoint, but I agree with Dan. She spent her time simpering with half the guys in this room. As a girl, I can tell you straight up, you are probably... You, like you're special in her eyes, but I'm afraid that's just an illusion she likes to maintain. So that she can torture you even more eventually. Jessica is probably right, I'm fooling myself. Everyone likes to think they're special, but they're not. It's just easier to deny it, especially in such extreme circumstances. And yet that look so penetrating, so bewitching. How could it not be me? It's as if she could read my soul. I need you for the second and equally parallel step. I need you to stab her. I shake my head again. I ask the question, you stab her, or someone else, I don't care. Besides, you're much more of an action guy than I am. I don't know if I could stab someone without passing out. Gyepi, for heck's sake! You think I'm a hero or something? I'm terrified too. You'll be much better at this part than me. I ask the question, you figure out the rest. Those are my terms, take it or leave it. Jessica closed her eyes, one hand over the face. You're even more stubborn than Dan. You guys are such idiots. You're a hero. We trust you. The twins seem more concerned with the tragically romantic nature of my speech than with its effectiveness. Might as well not rely on them too much. As for Wes, he looks away every time I look at him. Probably delighted to escape any responsibility for the execution of this plan and doesn't want to be noticed too much. Story of his life. Okay bro, if this is the only way to get you on board with this one, I'm counting on you. I finally managed to smile for the first time in what seems like forever. Let's make that witch pay. Evelyn finally turns away from the board in a strikingly graceful movement. Her unearthly beauty seems to grow with each passing moment. I positioned myself near the stairs and the twins moved to my left. In the row in front of us, Dan positioned himself next to Jessica and Wes. The blue dagger lies at his feet, hidden by my own body. It would be too risky for him to keep it in his hands. Evelyn would notice it immediately when she walks up the stairs. Alright, it's question time! My heart rate suddenly speeds up. The moment of truth is approaching. I will probably die in a few minutes. Dunking is on sale. Oh my goodness. The moment of truth. Jumping on sale. Emma's face quickly flashes before me. Despite her betrayal, I'm unable to completely suppress my feelings for her. Especially since I'm probably about to join her very soon in the afterlife. How much is it now, by the way? Maybe she had a good reason to cheat on me. Maybe it was because I didn't care enough, or because it just took her longest to feel what I was already feeling for her back then. She said she bitterly regretted what she did back then, over a year ago. Her 9-year-old. Oh, nice. What she did? Cheating on me. Some trash who was also in a relationship. Ambivalent feelings begin a new tumultuous clash within my heart. I sigh heavily. Hatred alone would do me no good. I must channel my anger towards Evelyn. I had for 6 more than a year ago, and played 100 hours plus. Whoa. A lot. Like, in order to complete it. I say heavily, hatred alone would do me no good. I must channel my anger towards Evelyn, the one because of whom everything started. My eyes closed, I whisper a few silent words as if to exorcise my inner demon. The Japanese physical. See. Emma, I'm sorry. I love you. When I open my eyes again, I feel like they glow with a fierce light. At least I strongly hope so, because the rest of my body is racked with tremors from the terror I'm feeling. Crap, why did I volunteer to throw myself into the lion's mouth? We just finished the chapter for justice, which is perfect because I have some questions for... Evelyn pauses, her gaze fixed on me. Or to be precise, on the shaking arm I'm painfully managing to hold up. Yes, Gyepi? I gather all the hate I'm feeling right now and channel it into my eyes before answering her. I volunteer. Evelyn looks at me with a very surprised look, and was right, she wasn't expecting this. Her surprise quickly gives way to a cruel smile that blossoms on her beautiful cold face, and she slowly walks up the stairs in my direction. Oh, I'm glad to see you're trying to be such a good student, Gyepi. Her movements seem appallingly slow to me, but that's probably because I'm living my last moments. I slowly lower my arm as Evelyn finally reaches my height. Behind me, I can almost feel the tension that has completely overwhelmed Dan. Stand up, please. Despite my shaking, I manage to stand up and face her. Her enigmatic smile widens a little more. With her long, graceful fingers gently brush my cheek. As if I've slipped into another dimension where we'd be completely isolated from the rest of the world. Gyepi, you naughty boy, what are you trying to do? Sweat drips down my forehead. It's as if her eyes are able to read me like an open. Has she figured out our plan yet? I volunteer. Volunteer. Evelyn runs her sharp tongue over her lips. Because I took care of your little sweetheart, the tremor in my jaw betrays my emotions. How hopeless romantic you are. This is so moving. And my is, well, was such a lucky girl. Don't talk about her. Each word inflicts a jolt of pain in my temples, but somehow I manage to respond intelligibly. Evelyn's gaze becomes falsely sympathetic. Oh, Gyepi. Oh, she was cheating on you. I look at her without blinking. Oh, you already knew? Oh, that's a surprise, but you already knew even before today. I remain silent, focused on the pain in my temples that is intensifying. Oh, but maybe you actually prefer naughty girls. Shut up. I can barely articulate a word, the pain is almost unbearable. Did you actually enjoy it, knowing that her body used to rebel wearingly against other men's despite your supposedly exclusive relationship? With this masochistic excitement of hoping she would end up saying someone else's name during your intimate moments. Oh my goodness. Ah, Yalf. Evelyn breaks into a cruel little laugh. Shut up! I managed to pronounce these last words without fainting, which is a small miracle. The lines on Evelyn's face become harder. Oh no, Gyepi, no, you cannot talk like that to your professor. Otherwise I'll have to punish you as well. Go die. Evelyn's smile suddenly reappears. Oh, that's a shame. Evelyn, behind you! Wide-eyed, Evelyn turns around and intercepts Dan's sword arm. Blue flesh. What? Why did he help her? She clenches her right fist back into the void, and Dan contorts in pain on the floor. The dagger falls with a thud and bounces off a handful of steps. Wes, you traitor. Wes stands, his eyes bugging out. Evelyn, is everything okay? Her magic still focused on Dan. Evelyn turns to Wes. Thank you, Wes. I didn't expect such exemplary behavior from you. I'm not handing out any reward, but you definitely deserve one. Wes budges his chest lightly as Jessica looks at him in horror. I'm just fulfilling my student duty to help you. Excellent, I like obedient students. As for you, you little brat. She redirects her attention to Dan, who stifles a howl of pain. I don't know what magical torture she's subjecting him to, but the pain seems unbearable. It is forbidden to attack your professor. The suffering seems to be rapidly intensifying despite the pain in my temples not fading. I regain control of my senses, damn it. I have to do something. I see the dagger that seems to be calling me, with all its might, on the step in front of me, right next to Evelyn. The opportunity is far too good to be true. A miracle like this, is it a trap? And suffering prompts me to act without question. I grab the dagger at full speed and cock my arm to strike Evelyn's back. I can barely hear Wes screams. Scream trying to alert her as Jessica rushes over to silence him. Only Evelyn matters with her back towards me and all her attention on Dan. We won't get a better opportunity. I bring the dagger down towards her neck in the hope of killing her with the first blow. I probably won't get a second chance to strike. As the blade is about to reach her bare skin, Evelyn's body chills slightly and her head turns towards me. Girl invades me. I'm screwed. Going to protect herself just like with Dan, and torture me to death. In a desperate attempt, I continue my gesture towards her graceful neck. To surprise, Evelyn just smiles at me. Her eyes. Pain no resistance when the blade sinks deeply into her neck. A spray of blood sprays my face while the metal easily tears the flesh. Ah! Evelyn eventually collapses to the ground in a torrent of agony. Ow. Breathless, my face studded with cold sweat. With a cold sweat and Evelyn's warm blood, I drop the dagger to the floor. Blood gushes from her mortal neck wound, and the pained expression on her frozen face tells me that the witch has finally passed away. Only her medallion still glows faintly with an unearthly light. And lies right in front of her, his eyes empty of life. He died to save us. Then, crap! A few tears bat at the corners of my eyes as I see Wes rush to Evelyn's lifeless body, looking totally desperate. Evelyn, please wake up. This hacking traitor. How long has he been working for her? Was he planning to betray us all along? He's clenched and I feel a new hatred roar in my chest. And he's dead because of him. This piece of poop must die. The bloodshed needs to stop. I stare at Wes in disgust. He's really mourning Evelyn's death, the death of the one who caused all this horror. Wes drifts to Dan's lifeless body. Dan, you shouldn't have died. You're the only one whose death is not fully due to Evelyn. The only one whose death could really have been avoided. My jaw clenches so tightly that it's painful, and I feel the hatred rising on me. A hatred that could lead me to... I look down at the bloody dagger that lies right next to Evelyn's corpse. It feels like it's a dagger calling me. Yes, it's calling me. It wants blood to flow. More blood. Again. Gyepi, don't do that! I turn to Zoe, a dazed look on my face. What? Please, drop the knife. My gaze turns to my hand, horrified at the sight of the dagger that is somehow clenched within my fingers. How did it get there? Did I pick it up? Zoe gives me a pleading look. Gyepi, you have to stop this bloodshed. I can hear the wisdom in her words, and yet a little voice in my head is screaming at me to kill Wes. To make him bleed. Slit his throat with that perfectly sharp blade and watch him bleed to death. Slowly. Painfully. In spite of the pain in my temples, I managed to focus on the situation. I don't want to. Kill him. To become a mere slave. Kill him. No. Kill him. Stop. Kill. I let out a howl of pain and managed to regain control of my body. I will not kill him. I refuse to become Evelyn's puppet. The voice that was so present in my mind disappears completely. I realize that I am sweating profusely, short of breath. Zoe hugs my arm, a panicked look on her face. Gyepi, are you okay? What are you... We're interrupted by the sound of Jessica delivering a strong kick directly into Wes' jaw. Well, this one tooth comes loose, and the traitor's body collapses to the side. Wes lets out a cry of pain, but Jessica continues to kick him as he contorts on the floor. You little vile traitorous crap! Wes starts coughing up blood, and Zoe rushes over to Jessica to interrupt the brutal beating. Jessica, stop! The witch is the... Jessica slaps her with a resounding blow, and resumes the strike against Wes. Hermes collapses on the ground. He killed Dan. He's a traitor who wanted us all dead. He must pay. I step between her and Wes, the dagger red, Evelyn's blood still in my right hand. Jessica looks at me with all the hate in the world in her eyes. Want to save him too? You think it's fair? I shake my head and hand her the dagger. Make him pay. Jessica's eyes watch me with all their intensity for an interminable moment, and disappear under a blanket of tears. Why? Why did he betray us like that? I place my hand on her shoulder in the vain hope of comforting her. Around us, the students scatter toward the door, too happy to be alive to care about Wes's fate. Out of the corner of my eye, I spot one timidly opening the door without encountering a curse. A triumphant clamor fills the room, and the students all rush out. It's really over. The curse is lifted. We are saved. Jessica's cries, still reeling from emotion, redouble in intensity. Then would never have died if it weren't for him. We already had the witch to deal with, so why? A raspy cough interrupts us, and Wes's guttural voice reaches my ears. Why? Why? Survive like I've been doing my whole life. The few remaining students stare at Wes with a stunned look. It's easy for you, beautiful, popular people. Life is so easy. A twisted sneer appears on his bloody face. Me, to survive, I had to take refuge under the wing of the powerful. All my life, nobody cares about a guy like me. Staying in the shadow of the popular ones is the best I can hope for. It's my only way to exist. No one believed in your plan, not even you. The only way to survive was to serve Evelyn. With her powers, she could have established a new order. A new justice where people like me can exist without depending on people like you. But now she's dead, and all this slaughter will have been for nothing. Your lousy plan will have been for nothing. Behold the corpses around you. You're responsible, you, the beautiful, the popular, the powerful. And you come and ask me why? Go to hell, it's all your fault if... Those vicious kick hits Wes in the throat. The latter, on the verge of choking, stares weakly on the floor like an earthworm. Shut up, you're not even worth getting our hands dirty to kill you. With all the weapons your new master summoned, you have enough to kill yourself easily. She spits at Wes, who is trying to catch his breath, then walks away towards the door with Zoe following her. Jessica looks at me and says evilly. I stab the solid dagger into Evelyn. She remains perfectly still, then lower my eyes towards Wes. We join her, we lock the door behind you. Let's go, Jessica. Jessica nods, her eyes still misty with tears. A thought keeps nagging at me. Why didn't Evelyn fight back against Dan? Like, let me kill her. I shake my head. It doesn't make sense. And why does this uneasy feeling refuse to go away? I walk slowly towards the exit, a terrible smell of blood behind me. I try away not to look at the corpses that litter the floor, like disarticulated puppets subjected to the vindictiveness of a capricious child. But it's carnage because of Evelyn. As I step through the doorway, a terribly familiar voice fills my mind and echoes through my entire body. Satisfied with this conclusion, a horrified look on my face, I turn back to Evelyn, who still lies motionless next to the row where I was sitting. Wes has crouched down next to her and is holding her face as he cries. Are you okay? I shake my head. Evelyn is dead. Right in front of my eyes, she is dead. So where is this voice coming from? Gyepi, let's go outside, you need some fresh air. I nod my head unconvincingly and walk briskly towards the exit, an inextricable feeling of unease in my heart. I walk on the blue sky with great relief. The sun is obviously at its zenith. This endless nightmare will have lasted only one morning, a morning strewn with deaths, populated with suffering and miraculously healed by the disappearance of the witch. I suppress a new nausea and keep my gaze on the bright blue sky. This time, it's really over. We're out in the open beyond the reach of Evelyn's magic. The classroom was her playground, her kingdom. If we're out of it, we're saved for good. The other students, most of them in tears, hug and scream with joy. When Jessica walks over to the twins to hug them, we're relieved to be alive. And an embryonic smile appears on my lips. We're alive. I'm alive. The nightmare is over, finally. Finally! Suddenly the landscape takes on an impossible color. In a sickening crunch around me, everything seems frozen. Only the wind disturbs the silence of that which says. I see wind carrying the rumor of a melodious voice that whispers softly in my ears. Vision really sweet. Overcome with a dull panic, I look around frantically. Am I hallucinating? Where is this voice coming from? A new naming for this is to be up or was for me. I saw someone did have it like yesterday. Not have it yet. Wait, let me check. But like, do you have the notification for it or just by checking your account? Okay, I cannot check with streamer mode enabled. Did you want to get it? Oh, okay. Updating you. See, I see. I'll check after the stream then. Where is this voice coming from? You are dead, Evelyn, you are dead. You no longer exist. A terrifying burst of laughter, both near and far, rings in my ears. The impossible colors all around me seem to swirl in a hellish spiral. Flew over. What the hell? Use you. Laughing. Hey, Gyepi! Move! Huh? My neurons are very slowly kicking in. The rusty machine getting greased by motor oil. Ago, everything was frozen. Evelyn! I look around frantically. I'm standing right in front of the entrance of the main building of the university, my back warmed by the morning sun. Gyepi, what's wrong? Behind me, Dan looks at me sarcastically, so this... Dan is alive! Dan! I rush over to him and hug him with all my strength. Hey, what are you doing? Just blur my vision, but Dan's heartbeat confirms that he's alive. And you are... Please tell me it's your phone I'm feeling right now. I can't help but laugh nervously. It's definitely Dan, with his already lousy jokes. No offense, bro, I'm flattered, but I actually prefer girls. Hey, are you crying? Dan pushes me away slightly. He looks at me with wide eyes, like he's seeing me for the first time. Gyepi, what's wrong? Did Emma dump you or something? Without even wiping away my tears, I continue to stare at him with a dumbfounded look. You're alive! Dan does not even try to hide his perplexity. You were drunk or something? You idiot, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The frozen sinner appears before my eyes for a moment, both real and terrifying. Evelyn, have you seen Evelyn? She should be... Dan shakes me by the shoulders. Gyepi, wake up! I don't know what kind of nightmare you're having at night, but time to wake up! Does he really have no memory of what happened? Evelyn's voice carried by the wind immediately comes back to my mind. Does this conclusion really work for you? Dan, Evelyn is alive, I'm sure of it, we must... Evelyn, who's that? I turn to the newcomer, a very familiar voice. I can't believe my eyes, Emma is standing right there. Fits on hips, an irritated look on her face. And yeah, we're going to conclude the stream here, right now. Gonna continue tomorrow. I have no idea if I will stream twice or only once tomorrow, but yeah, we'll definitely catch up with this. It's not bad, I'm enjoying it. So, let's see whom to raid. Please go for the raid, cinnamon buns. Do not leave just yet. Dun, 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 dun. I have to write the ads to see what streamers are currently doing. I don't really want to raid another artist as I did raid plenty of artists as of lately. But first, I'm not following so far just yet. Let's see. someone right now. Because it said there are games that do not interest me, and I want to rate someone who is playing I do my like or do like. It's either that or artists. Okay. There's a VTuber who is right now streaming Little Witch in the Woods, so let's read them, and there's Gyepi. In the raid. Okay. Now once it's raid time. As per usual, to spam away the message over here, keep your raid for Gyepi Day, so they do have a Gyepi Day as well. It's been very nice having you around. We're gonna see each other tomorrow. Next time, bye bye!